Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. This is I on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, and you've tuned in consciously and conscientiously to this podcast because you know that in this podcast, you're going to learn how to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? So just as a little backdrop, I want to mention to everybody, in case you didn't know, talking about Las Vegas, and just put it in context. The state of California, which is the most populous state in the United States of America, has 30 plus minus million people. If you add in the entire population of the state of Oregon, just north of California, and you add in the entire population of the state of Washington, just north of Oregon, all three states together don't equal the number of people who come through Las Vegas on a yearly basis. Almost 41 million people visit this place. And they do because not what you're thinking about, but because this place is pulsating with energy. It shouts freedom and the ability to grow and do and be. And we are just so happy to have with us today one of the most interesting people that embodies freedom and everything she stands for. I'm going to tell you about with the Freedom Fest. Amazing, wonderful Valerie Durham. Valerie, please say hello to 399,286 people around the world.
Amazing. It's so exact. And they're all the exact right people we want to talk to today. So I'm really excited that those people are here today.
That's right. Because everybody around the world, Valerie, you know this more than anybody because you've been working deeply in this area called freedom for most of your life, certainly your adult life.
Right.
And everybody in the world has what I call an America mindset, no matter where they live in the world. They want to be in America because they know that this place still is the greatest, most powerful place in the world for opportunity, for the ability to grow. So I just want you to go, let's dive right in. I'm going to speak less, you're going to speak more, and tell us about this remarkable convention, if we have to use that term, called Freedom Fest. That's happening July 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th of this year, 2024, right here in Las Vegas. Freedom Fest. What is it? Why should anybody come? What's going on?
Thanks so much, Barry. Yes, we are so excited. We are holding Freedom Fest at the Caesars Forum this year, July 10th through the 13th. And Freedom Fest is the largest gathering of free minds in the world. And what we do is we look at freedom from a 360-degree perspective. You know, political freedom is really important. And that's what most of us think of when we think of freedom. We think of our civil rights and our political freedoms. And those are certainly extremely important. But the truth is we live freedom in a 360 experience. We live our financial freedom, our intellectual freedom, our personal freedom, our ability to choose around our health, our education, what profession we have, what we do with our money. And so Freedom Fest looks at aspects of freedom. It's a true fest of freedom. And we look at all aspects of freedom and liberty. And we invite anyone who cares about liberty in any direction, in any capacity, to come together for 4 days to celebrate and explore liberty on all these different levels. We look at the arts, we look at cultural issues, we look at entrepreneurship, we look at economic freedom. If it's an issue or a question or something affecting your life or your community or our society, we're talking about it at Freedom Fest. And that's what makes it such an epic experience each year.
I love this, the E word, an epic experience. It's a 4-letter word, epic. Let's drop some names because let's be blunt. Celebrity is the spark that ignites the masses. Let's talk about, first of all, name 3 people right off the top of your head that people should know about and want to be interacting with, and they will be able to at Freedom Fest. Just 3 to start.
Yeah. So this year we're really, we have such an amazing lineup this year. So Ice-T is coming. And
wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Ice-T. No, I'm not talking about the person who sells iced tea from the counter. We're talking about the rapper, the musician, the very successful businessman.
Yes.
This is the key. Making music is one thing, translating it into economic reality is second. But the third and most important part, and the genius of America, is being able to keep your money and now utilize it for helping others.
And the
So
truth is, no matter where you are in your business, like in my other life, I'm also a dancer. Well, the truth is, I have to approach my dance career also as a business, and all of us need to do that. In fact, the most successful people, Jordan Peterson, many others, recommend that you treat your life as a business, your personal life even as a business. And this is a very important concept. And we talk about business principles at Freedom Fest. And Ice-T has an amazing career. He started out obviously very filled with a lot to say about the society he grew up in. He used music to do that. But since then, he's also become the longest running active actor in a television series ever, more than 25 years on Law and Order, and has been extremely successful at that. At the same time that he has been continuing to take on major cultural issues around criminal justice reform and education reform. In fact, my parents met Ice-T and worked with him when they were teachers at Sing Sing Prison in New York City, where both of them taught as professors to teach the inmates, help them get their college careers and college degrees, which has been proven to be one of the number one ways to reduce recidivism as inmates are released. So both my parents were involved in that program, and Ice-T was one of the people who was involved in that program as well and came to the graduation ceremony. So
okay, so let's talk about
two more.
let's talk about Robert Kiyosaki. Hello.
Oh,
If you don't know Robert Kiyosaki by name, wait till you hear the title of the book.
yes. If you haven't heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you've been living under a rock somewhere. So Robert is joining us. He's been with us at Freedom Fest before, and he's obviously just a fantastic spokesperson for that kind of intelligent American finder of truth, And so sometimes what we're given conventionally, or what the government tells us is proper, or the fact that we are not given very much information, we're kind of expected, we're thrown into a financial world where money is important and we're not really taught correct principles. Robert Kiyosaki was someone who gave a light and a path to so many people to find financial freedom. And so he will be there sharing his most recent wealth building tips and insights, a really fantastic speaker, and someone who is a hero for many because he has helped them on a path to financial freedom. We have an entire track of financial and investment sessions at Freedom Fest. We call it our Global Financial Summit. So anyone who's looking for financial freedom should come to Freedom Fest. We talk about Bitcoin, we talk about gold ownership, we talk about great alternative investing offshore, many, many different opportunities for investment advice. And Robert Kiyosaki is a fantastic keynote speaker.
I'm hoping you're going to say yes. Will Steve Forbes be attending this year?
Yes, Steve Forbes is one of our co-ambassadors. He comes just about every year. I think only a medical situation has kept him away before. And he will be there. He will be talking economics, the vision for America. What we love about Steve, he's such an optimist about America. And no matter what, when you get him talking about America, you feel uplifted, you feel inspired, and you feel like, yes, we can do it. So Steve is a great friend of ours, an amazing person, and he will be at Freedom Fest this year.
Well, let's talk about another Steven Pinker.
Yes.
I'm a very big fan of Steven Pinker, and he is resident in the belly of the beast these days, as he's been for a number of decades, because he's in Harvard, and he's Jewish, and he's a professor. So he has a lot of strikes against him, and yet he's rising above it because inside of him, he is the embodiment of America. So talk about, what is Dr. Pinker going to be speaking about?
So what is so exciting we love having intellectual conversations at Freedom Fest. That's one of the things you're going to get at Freedom Fest that you don't get at a lot of other politically oriented conventions. We have substantive discussions, intellectual conversations that are still stimulating and interesting. They're not dry and boring. So what we love about Professor Pinker is that he's going to come and be talking about progress. again, in that optimistic way where we can understand how to move forward. Our theme at Freedom Fest this year is Brave New World with a question mark, because the classic book from 1932 with Aldous Huxley is very grim about how technology affects society. But we look, along with Dr. Pinker, at how many opportunities technology can also bring us. So he'll be outlaying a very optimistic view about how technology and progress can actually enhance our humanity and our society. And that's what we love about him. He's also going to be talking with Lord Matt Ridley and Michael Shermer.
Whoa, Matt Ridley. Wow, what an amazing person. Oh,
Totally
so
amazing.
articulate
So that
and good.
conversation between Lord Ridley, Dr. Pinker, Michael Shermer, and George Gilder will be there. So many other really incredible future visionists in our society, great intellectuals, will be there offering an awesome perspective on what's next for humanity.
So the point of this is that Freedom Fest is an uplifting, encouraging process that when you come in, you will be rejuvenated and reborn as you go out. Absolutely. And it is the exact opposite of the dystopian vision that is now being put forth by many members of the current administration, themselves holding prestigious titles. In other words, we have people with prestigious titles. We're talking about America as we understand it as the force of good in the world. Absolutely. We love living in a fog. It's called force of good. As I said, people all around the world are listening to us now. We have people in some of the most impoverished places in the world economically. However, the people that come and listen to this are not impoverished mentally. Yeah. They do believe in the American dream, the American ideal, no matter where they live in the world. They could be literally right now in communist China, and they're listening and hoping to be here someday, or at least bring that power to wherever they live. So let's talk about a fun part of it, and that's Rob Schneider. Hello.
Yes. We are getting quite a long history of bringing some amazing comedians to Freedom Fest. We've had John Cleese before, and Rob Schneider is coming this year, because through all of this cancel culture experience that we've been having over the past few years, it's really been the comedians at the forefront of taking on this challenge of what the freedom of expression really means. And that, yes, it can mean that you say offensive things. And yes, it can mean that you take on tough topics and you say things people don't agree with. And that is okay. It doesn't mean we need to shut people down. You can change the channel. You don't have to listen.
That's America.
But you don't have to shut someone down if someone else wants to listen. And eventually, if enough people don't listen, they get shut down anyway. You just use freedom of choice with your freedom of expression. So Rob Schneider will be there. He's really taking on the cancel culture, and we don't know what he's going to say. You might like it, you might not, but he will be embodying freedom of expression for sure.
And I know that Jerry spoke to me recently, that's Jerry Seinfeld, that he's booked on other things. Otherwise, he'd be there, because he right now is speaking out more so than he ever did before, and needing to. And he recognizes that America is in a tipping point. Let's be blunt. This is most likely the most consequential presidential election since Ronald Reagan. That's my humble opinion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's really, it could go either way. We can't be too confident and say, we know we're going to win, because you never know.
No. Especially with the third party candidates that are involved, and some of the, which actually I eventually I hope that we get away from the duopolistic, red, blue, Democrat. There are other ways to govern this.
Whoa, wait a minute. On the edge of your seat, everybody. This is so wonderful. Don't go away. Okay. We have sponsors that love the show. We wouldn't urge you to patronize them if we didn't vet them. It's a 44-second insight into a great sponsor of ours. And then we'll come back with Valerie, and she's going to tell us about multiple parties in America. Oh my gosh.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, so I was looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. Her name is Valerie. She's the one who's the tip of the spear for Freedom Fest, happening here in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's why it's in Las Vegas. That's why she's here with us today. July 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. You do not want to miss this at all. You want to be involved somehow. And one of the people involved with Freedom Fest said so eloquently, there's no better way to recharge your ideological batteries and enjoy life than being at Freedom Fest. So we're just on the edge of our seats. And I mentioned that this is this is the most consequential presidential election since 1980. And Ronald Reagan defeated the listless Jimmy Carter. And we have somewhat listless person now. So it's good to make the same thing happen. Wouldn't that be nice? And here Valerie is saying, well, Barry, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we're all about true freedom. True freedom could be, why do we have to be relegated to parties? It's work. It does work. There's nothing wrong with a third, fourth, or fifth opportunity for people to participate. So, okay, Valerie, you opened up that can. Let's hear it.
Well, I think it's really interesting how much in the political discourse we've gotten so rancorous. Between social media and what's on the national media, you have so much just ire coming at each other, and it really does not lead us to any progress. And we really have almost like, rather than a monopoly, we have two parties that just ping pong back and forth and end up undoing the good work that one does and then coming in and dismantling something else or building up something that's not good for the country. And it's just this back and forth. And we have a lot of anger, one American to another, that actually does not help us progress as a society. It's the times when we work together and honor the reasons that somebody might be concerned about a particular issue or not. How can we work together and find common ground? One of the best ways we can do that is to really honor civil discourse, which means you have to have an open mind and you have to be willing to have conversation instead of just, I know, right? So this year at Freedom Fest, we are holding a presidential debate that is inviting everyone with enough ballot access that they could legitimately actually be elected to president. So there are several third parties and independent candidates that have that just enough of that level of access or enough percentage in the polls that they can be included. We're up to 7 candidates that could be included with different perspectives on proper governance of this country. And how marvelous, as free market people, as believers in humanity, it is the diversity of ideas that allows us to actually make progress. So certainly in our political conversation, we need diversity of ideas. And so in addition to inviting President Biden of the Democrat Party, former President Trump of the Republican Party, we have already confirmed Chase Oliver of the Libertarian Party, Randall Terry of the Constitution Party, and Dr. Jill Stein of the Green Party. And we have additional invites out to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Dr. Cornel West. And so when this comes together and the candidates who are willing to come and share ideas in a fair, well-moderated debate on real issues. And by the way, our current confirmed moderator is Representative Thomas Massey, and we are in the process of confirming several other really exciting moderators for this debate. So they're going to be great questions, hard-hitting, but also in a way that's fair and open-minded. So I think this on Friday, July 12th, from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, We are going to have this epic debate broadcast out, and you can be in person live in Las Vegas to see this debate.
So I want to put you on pause for a moment, because this is so mind expanding, heart expanding. Because if you're in Malaysia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Beijing, you're captured in Venezuela, you could be listening to this if you have access to the internet.
Yes.
You could be thinking about and hearing about how the greatest country, the greatest experiment in human history of free people living in their land in freedom, respond to each other without fear of being taken to jail.
That's right.
That is an amazing idea. Without fear of being taken to jail or being put on trial. I don't want to go and talk about what happened to President Trump, because it just hurts too much. But being put on trial because you're a presidential candidate.
That's right.
It almost defies the understanding of the American political system. We don't want to go there necessarily. I do want to make mention, though, of a couple of things that people can access. freedomfest.com. You should go to the website anyway. You should look at the books that are recommended by various people throughout the number of years that Freedom Fest has been around, because books open your mind. And one of the things that is so remarkably powerful and positive and purposeful about America is that you can still access books. And the ability to do that is truly amazing, because there are many countries in the world where you can't.
That's correct.
You cannot. So let's continue with the L word, the LIBERTY word instead of LGBTR, the LIBTR. Liberty. What an amazing idea that oftentimes gets short shrift, because we talk about freedom, whatever that really means, the ability to live free without hurting somebody else. Liberty is really the driving force for the American, what we call the revolution. Was less of a revolution than, of course, what happened in France, thank God. But what is the driving force of liberty from your perspective, Valerie? Because you've been nursed on it.
That is true. My great uncle is Cleon Skousen, who wrote The Naked Capitalist and The Naked Communist back in the 1960s. And my great grandfather is Benjamin Franklin, the grandfather of our country. So
wait a minute. Well, hello, stop the presses. I didn't see that coming.
I'm full of surprises, Barry.
Right. Okay, well, that's the heritage. What are we bringing forward?
Right. Yes. So liberty is, and this is at the crux of the conversation, and this acknowledgement that from within, the ability, as Rose Wilder Lane talked about, your ability to choose to lift your little finger is yours and yours alone to make. People can coerce you, they can drug you, they can lift their finger for you, but your ability to make your own decision to lift your little finger is yours and yours alone. And that comes out of our bodies and our spirits and our existence into everything that we do. So every word that you speak, every action you take, every decision that you make, and how you engage with this world is an evidence of our liberty. And the more that we honor that liberty, and the more that we respect it in ourselves and in each other, that is when we get true peace in our lives, in our personal lives, and in our world. It is when we get true progress for ourselves personally and in our world. And so it is that ability to act on your impulses, your mind, to make decisions, to suffer the consequences of your decisions and therefore learn. Protecting people from the consequences of their decisions is not that great of a thing and is not actually liberty. So that's where I think this importance of liberty, it comes out of our actual DNA and our actual existence as human beings. And when we deny people's opportunity to make those decisions and inform their lives out of that actionability, that's when we deny our humanity at a really fundamental level. And so that's why we talk about all this at Freedom Fest.
So I'm glad we're unpacking this. And you mentioned Benjamin Franklin, who, in addition to his writings and his printing and his thinking and his scientific explorations in Philadelphia, of course, giving that apocryphal remark to somebody when asked, what kind of government have you given us? And he said, Madam, a republic if you can keep it. But of course, the Liberty Bell is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it is cracked. And it does have on it a biblical verse, because that is what roots the United States of America. It's important to understand that the word liberty is also used by the French.
That's right.
But they've abused it in the sense that it's not rooted in a biblical understanding of life. And it's certainly, in today's world, family, in my humble opinion, is one of the bedrock foundation, marriage and family, one of the bedrock foundations of true liberty in the United States. And they're both under attack. And purposely, by the way, not just randomly. This is all purposeful, in the sense that there are malign interests in the United States of America that truly want to undermine whatever goodness we have still in the country. And that's why Freedom Fest, again, in Las Vegas, which, by the way, it's a city that thrives on liberty.
Yes, it does. That's why we picked it.
I mean, it is a place. I'll just tell you a quick, brief story. And unfortunately, we're going to wrap up in a moment. Two friends of mine started a company 3 years ago in California, booming, doing great. And they realized that it was just the regulations were getting to them. So, well, where can we go? Where are we going to move to? And they looked around Texas, Florida, and they said, wait a minute. Hello, Las Vegas. And in 6 weeks, they packed up their company, moved to Las Vegas, been thriving ever since.
Wow.
And I just had lunch with one of them the other day, and he says, this place feels like freedom. It feels like a pirate cove where you can get things done and do stuff and go. And it's what California used to be 45 years ago. It's what America really wants to be, who we really are, as you said, in our DNA. That is the essence. As I said, people around the world, they still think of America not just about money. It's not. It's about, I can raise a family, I can do things, I can grow, I can help others, I can serve, because the essence of the American dream is service.
That's right.
When you understand that, then you know what America's about. That's the
essence of business. When you are in service to your employees, your stakeholders, your investors, your customers, even your vendors. That's what John Mackey talks about with conscious capitalism, that when you are in service to all of those elements, that is how we are successful. And they talk about free markets being about competition all the time, and greed and competition, but really free markets are much more about collaboration and cooperation.
So we call that co-opetition.
Yes, I like it.
You compete in certain levels and you collaborate.
That's right.
And we don't try to suppress.
That's right.
The opposite. We want rising tide.
There really is room for everyone.
And because, it's not a shrinking pie, it's an abundance mindset.
That's correct. The universe is filled.
Valerie, I'm loath to say the words I'm about to say to you. So I have 3 quick questions for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1, will you come back again?
I would love to. Okay,
that's good. Number 2, Valerie Durham, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question.
Gosh.
What is your most fervent desire?
Oh my goodness. Wow, I can tell you So for me, it is personal development, becoming the best person that I can be, someone that has compassion, healthy brain patterns, who embodies her talents and can push forward goodness into the world as the best person I can be. That's my most fervent desire.
Well, you've just struck a resonant note, because on this podcast and the Joy of Living podcast that we do regularly every week as well, we talk about that this podcast, it's not about Valerie, wonderful being that she is, or Barry Shore, fabulous guy. It's about you.
Mm-hmm.
You. It's about you becoming the best you. And
That's
when
right.
you're the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, love. Third question, Valerie, may I give you a hug in front of 401,822 people around the world?
I would love it. How do you do that?
Let me tell you what hug stands for. Ready?
Okay.
Heartfelt,
Yes.
unlimited giving, HUG. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Ready? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. And our blessing from Valerie and Barry is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Valerie, don't go away.